Hi parents, it's me, Miss Arnold. I hope everyone's having a wonderful summer. I miss everyone and I am so excited to see everyone in August. But as promised, I have our reopening plan. I shared this with staff yesterday, and now I want to get it out to you guys so everyone has an opportunity to kind of process and ask any questions they have, and then plan for being ready to start in August. So here we go. First, thank you for filling out the survey that I sent with my previous video, asking you about your preferences with schedules and protocols and things like that. So we had really over about 80% of our parents filled out the survey, and then about 40% of our students, mostly our older kids, obviously. But thank you for taking the time to do that. It really did go into my planning for this, and I was appreciative of your comments and questions and suggestions, so thank you. Just to let you know kind of where everybody's head is as far as what they answered on that survey. I asked you what your first choice, second choice, third choice was for schedule, and 67% of parents picked the typical schedule as their first or second choice, and 90% of students picked that as their first or second choice. And then it's kind of flipped with the alternating schedule. So 93% of our parents picked alternating schedule as their first or second choice, and 76% of students. So parents and students were kind of flipped on typical versus alternating. And so I think that's just because as parents, you're a little more cautious about what's going to happen next year. So, but I think we're all on the same page with remote learning, and we don't want that as our first or second choice. We want some sort of in-person contact, which I totally agree. As far as protocols, these are kind of the breakdowns of what everybody was thinking for protocols. And remember, this was almost a month ago, I think, that I sent this survey out. So I would be interested to see if any of this changed with, recent developments in our state. But anyway, the first number is parents and the second number is students. So parents and students pretty much are on the same page about hand washing and disinfecting. Changes a little bit with the other ones. Again, I don't think students are as concerned. Pre-existing conditions, something that I definitely take into consideration. 12% of our students of parents that completed the survey reported that they have pre-existing conditions that give them a little concern. And then 24% of our families have household members in addition to that that have pre-existing conditions. And then 30% of our staff's not that big, so 30% is a lot of our staff, have either themselves or someone in their household has pre-existing conditions. So my goal as I went through all of this was to focus on three things. First and foremost, ensure the health and safety of everyone, staff, students, families, people in our households. But then also, while we can't help but have things different at school, yes, things are going to look a little differently. I want to make sure we maintain a sense of normalcy for our kids. And then, as we always do, focus on our social and academic growth and achievement of our kids. That's our goal. That's why we're here at school. So the one thing that I'm doing to ensure the health and safety of our staff, students, families, friends, everybody associated with our school is follow guidelines set by the CDC and local governments. Every protocol you'll see that we go over, I'm sure you've heard before, and it's all based on CDC guidelines and local mandates now. And then maintaining a sense of normalcy. This is huge for me. So I want to focus on academics, not these protocols, not all these things that are different, but excuse me. Focus on academics, and then try to find a way to maintain a light and fun environment like we always have. I think, we always have fun at school, and want to make sure our kids are happy and feel comfortable so that they can learn. And then one thing that we normally do, so it will help maintain our sense of normalcy is just focusing on social and academic growth and achievement. So continuing to focus on each student's needs, continue to focus on essential standards. So each grade level has essential standards and supplementary standards. So making sure we're focusing on those essential standards, making sure those kids get what they need. And if we have the time, go back to those supplemental standards. And then provide additional support when we need. So those three kind of pillars, so to speak, were my guiding factors in coming up with the plan and all the things that we're doing. So our plan for reopening in August. So our first day of school is still scheduled to be August 5th. And protocols we'll have in place, focus on hand washing and sanitizing. In addition to we have hand sanitizing stations in each classroom, but in addition to that, we'll also have mobile hand sanitizing stations outside by the front gate, by the bathrooms. So when kids are outside at recess, we'll have mobile hand sanitizing and hand washing stations. So we'll have both of those so that we can have, they have other places besides just inside the bathroom and inside the classroom to do that. Focus on disinfecting throughout the day, the classrooms, all the rooms, and obviously every night. Screening of staff and students before arriving on campus, particularly for students. They will have their temperature checked at the gate when they arrive, or when they arrive to before care. Will have their temperature checked. A mask or face shield is required indoors for all staff, students, and visitors. That's now a Town of Gilbert mandate, a Maricopa County mandate. So that is something we will follow. And then social distancing in the classrooms and at recess. So again, all these protocols based on CDC guidelines, and I don't think anything earth-shattering or new or unexpected here. So those are the protocols we'll have in place. Now, in order to do that, especially the social distancing in the classroom, having kids 6 feet apart, we don't have the space to have 25 kids 6 feet apart, and we don't have that many additional rooms or that many additional staff members to make that happen. So we are going to have to do an alternating schedule. So kids will come Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday to school. We will assign that, as we have many factors we have to consider with that. Students needing enrichment or support will be invited to come on Fridays, but we'll keep those groups to 10 or less so we can continue to have that social distancing on Fridays. Obviously, siblings will be kept together. We have people we know that ride together, so we'll be keeping those people together to help with transportation to and from school, to make that a little easier for everyone. Our school hours will still be the same. Our school calendar will still be the same, so nothing with that changes. I know some schools are taking away fall breaks or stuff like that. We're not doing that. So school calendar, school hours are the same. Corral before and after school will still be available to students on the days that they're in school. Same hours for Corral, 6:30 in the morning, 6 p.m. in the evening after school. And the only exception to the alternating schedule is our KRP class, our preschool class. They will come every day. Just a little bit about what instruction will look like. We're going to use what's called a flipped classroom model, and that blue text is a link to a YouTube video with a little explanation about what a flipped classroom is. But just in short, it's kind of flipped. What they would normally do at home, they're going to do in school, and what they would normally do in school, they're going to do at home. So instead of listening to the teacher lecture and all that in class, they're going to do that at home. That's going to be through YouTube videos, teacher-made videos, Khan Academy videos for math, and kids can watch that as many times as they need to kind of process that material. They'll also do their MobyMax or fluency practice, maybe handwriting practice, sight word practice for the little kids, but easy, independent work at home. And then for older kids, probably some project-based learning, and they can extend their learning at home. But then in class, they're going to be doing their independent practice, their small group one-on-one support, and their assessments, obviously, we're going to do in class so we can make sure we get accurate information there. So watch that video for a little bit more information about flipped classroom. But kind of the goal there is for kids to have work at home that they don't need a lot of support with. Again, it's watching a video. They can certainly do that on their own. It's MobyMax fluency practice, practicing their addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. They can do the 5 minutes of MobyMax. They can practice writing their letters. It's very, very basic stuff to practice at home. And then more of the in-depth practicing in the classroom with the teacher support. Technology to help facilitate all this flipped classroom stuff is students in kindergarten and first grade are going to be able to check out a Chromebook that's going to be kept at home. And then second through eighth grade will be assigned a Chromebook to take back and forth for use in the classroom and then use at home. And we'll provide a carrying case for them to do that so they can do that safely and protect the Chromebook. Other materials and personal items, obviously we want to limit those, limit what's going back and forth from school, to limit what's carrying germs of any kind. So all students obviously can bring their lunchbox. They need to bring their water bottles. Water bottles are required, okay? Kindergarten through first grade will have a folder if they need to bring papers back and forth. And then second through eighth grade will have their laptop carrying case to put their laptop and any other papers or stuff they have. But other than that, there's nothing that should be going back and forth from school. So there's no backpack needed. So you can scratch that off your back to school shopping list. And then don't forget, for just everybody's safety in your household, to sanitize things that you can when they come home from school. Then social distancing and hygiene in the classroom. So I mentioned that we'll have students seated 6 feet apart. What that will look like in most classes, we have tables. So a student will be sitting at each end of the table. Obviously they'll have assigned seating, which that's normal. And we'll make sure everybody has their individual supplies. So no supply sharing. We'll have cubbies and pencil boxes for everybody to keep their supplies in. If there are manipulatives or things like that they need to share, we'll make sure they're disinfected before someone else uses it. We're going to have to spread things out. So, some classes might have to remove some non-essential furniture. So some classrooms obviously will look different. The CDC recommends having doors open and windows open when possible. We can't open the windows in our classrooms, but we can open the doors. And when it's not 110 degrees outside, we will. And we've also ordered screens to put over those to keep the bugs out. And that's just obviously for ventilation and things like that. And then all of this, we at the beginning of the year, we normally take a couple weeks to teach kids the expectations, the procedures, how to do things in each classroom. And all of this will be included in that. So explicitly teaching them what's expected of them, how to get their individual materials, where to supply them, and all that will be practiced throughout the year. At the beginning and then throughout the year after breaks and, just reminders. But hopefully after that initial 2 weeks of getting everybody used to all these new things, we can kind of just have reminders as needed and again, focus on our normal routines and our academics. So recess, we do have to consider that because they have to also stay socially distant at recess. They don't have to wear their masks or face shields out at recess. But so for morning, we're probably going to alternate classes either going straight to the classroom or to the play area. So still making sure kids have some of that play time in the morning. But then for their recess during the day and lunch, we will have assigned play areas for the kids. We'll rotate during the week. So one class might be on the concrete slab playing something, and then another class will be on the play structure, the swings, the monkey bars, and another class would be, in the grassy area doing something. And we're starting to brainstorm different activities where the kids can do outside to still maintain social distancing and trying to think outside the box, with the normal stuff like jump ropes, hula hoops, and then other things like an activity course or just dance videos and different ways to keep them active and moving outside. And then each class will have their own recess equipment that will be sanitized daily. Specials. So back to recess, just one thing I forgot. So they still will have 50 minutes of recess a day. That kindergarten through 5th grade, that will not change. And everybody will still have specials when they're there, except on Fridays we won't have specials. But they will end up having PE once a week and art and music once a week. Art and music, Ms. Johnson will go into the classroom to teach that, and same with supplies, individual art and music supplies when they're needed. Ms. Hay will do PE in the multi-purpose room or outside when the weather is nicer. PE equipment and any art equipment too would be sanitized between classes. Our days will change as far as what days we have the specials on, because of the days the kids are coming, we want to make sure they get both. So art and music would be on Mondays and Thursdays, and PE would be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So have to remember what day to wear your tennis shoes. That might be a little different. Lunch, students will eat lunch in their classrooms. We are trying to finalize what we're going to do for lunch for kids on the days they're not in class. We will have lunch for them. It probably will look like they eat lunch with us the day they are there, and then they take a brown bag lunch for the next day when they're not there. But we're still trying to finalize that. And classrooms will be disinfected and cleaned after lunch. And one thing I didn't put on here, it just popped into my head. Instead of sending home paper calendars for lunch, we're gonna do that online through a Google form, where monthly you'll pick what lunches you want to order for your kids. But we'll have more information about that, obviously, when we get closer. Sick students, it's always been our policy that if your student has a fever of 100 or over, we would like you to keep them home. And so that's what we're going to continue to go with this next school year. So when we take temperatures outside, if we have 100-degree reading or over, we're just going to ask them to get back in the car and come back after they have no symptoms. If students do develop symptoms of fever or really bad cough or any of the symptoms of COVID, they'll be isolated in a separate room. We won't keep them in the nurse's office, because we'll still have people coming to the nurse's office for Band-Aids and nosebleeds and all that stuff, that ice packs, all those things that the kids come every day to the nurse's office for. So we don't want to intermingle those. We'll have a special area for them to wait for parents to pick up as soon as possible. Clubs, events, there are right now no clubs or in-person events in the first quarter of school. We're going to do some of our events virtually, the ones that we can do virtually. We will have a virtual back to school orientation process, so all of that will be done virtually, and we probably will also have an online book fair. Drop-off and dismissal. All drop-off and pickup must be done from the car line. We're going to ask that you not walk up. That's to limit the number of people coming in and out of campus. Then also in the afternoon, when all the parents congregate there at the gate, that's obviously not keeping with social distancing guidelines. So we just ask that everybody pick up and drop off from the car line. We're going to have half the number of kids coming to school every day, so our car line will be much shorter and go much quicker in the afternoons. The mornings, not a problem. KRP and CORRAL actually also are the only exceptions to that, because parents have to sign kids in and out of that. And that may change if the Department of Health changes their guidelines. We will also have a special exception for kindergarten students on their first day of school. We're planning kind of a staggered arrival schedule for kindergarten students and a special entrance, and we're gonna try to make that a special first day of school. And then students will be dismissed from the classroom. They won't be all sitting underneath the awning. We'll dismiss them from the classrooms. CORRAL before and after school. Again, it's going to be available for kids on their on-site days. Mornings we're going to limit to 10 kids. Afternoon groups, we'll still have 2 groups, but each group will be limited to 10 kids. we are, to help keep those numbers steady, we are going to have to limit to full-time only and no drop-ins. And this registration is probably going to have to be on a first come, first serve kind of process. I think based on numbers last year, the people that used it on a full-time basis will fit within these numbers. So hopefully we can accommodate everybody that needs it. But same times and same protocols as the normal school day that I already talked about will be in place in Corral. Communication obviously is always an important thing, and even more so with all these new procedures and expectations and protocols and stuff. But we have a variety of ways that we communicate with parents that we already have done. The Monday Mustang memos, mass emails from Mrs. Wicker, Bloom's, Parent View to look at students' grades, where obviously every class is going to have a Google Classroom for remote learning. Some teachers are going to develop class websites. All teachers are going to be required to send weekly student progress reports. That's not necessarily grades, but just how are they doing with work completion, and how are they doing in class and at home? How are they doing with everything? Just kind of a quick update. We obviously have our school website, our Facebook and Instagram, and a new thing while we're in this alternating schedule environment is that I will do a monthly question and answer hangout for parents, and the teachers will do one as well for any questions, comments, concerns that come up. And then visitors, we're gonna, obviously, I think I said this already, but no non-essential visitors will be allowed on campus, again, to limit the number of people coming in and out of our campus. The number of parents in the office at any time is going to be limited to one. So if you come by and you notice someone's already in the office, if you could just wait outside the door, that'd be great. And then again, anyone entering the office must wear a face covering, face mask, or face shield. Our behavior system, our pride system is still going to be the same. We're still going to focus on our character virtues, purpose, respect, integrity, daring, excellence. Still have those same expectations in class. Same check system, but we are going to do a new reward system, and I'll give more detail about this to parents when school starts, and we'll obviously explain it to the kids. But we're going to have more frequent rewards for our younger kids, and then bigger, less frequent rewards for our older students to kind of make that a little more age appropriate. So KRP, our preschool class, we're going to have two separate classes. This year we had one class with 20 kids. This year we'll have two classes with 10 students in each class. We'll use the art and music room as our additional preschool room, since Ms. Johnson will be going into the classrooms. And same hours, and they come every day. Important to have clear expectations for everyone in this time. So some of the expectations that I'm setting for the teachers that I went over with them yesterday, just making sure they provide clear expectations and explanations for what students are supposed to be doing on their remote learning days, so that you as parents can support them, and that they can be as independent as possible by knowing exactly what they need to do. They're going to set up, maintain, and monitor their Google Classroom, provide feedback on any remote learning activities they need to, so kids can know how they're doing. And then, like I said, provide that weekly communication of how their work completion, their progress, and things like that are going. Expectations for students, obviously they need to complete all their assignments during remote learning. I know in Q4, this was, a very quick transition, and we were doing the best we could. But anything done and assigned needs to be completed during remote learning, and will affect the student's grade and possible promotion to the next grade. If they're not doing their assignments, they're not progressing on mastering their standards, we're not going to be able to promote them to the next grade. So all assignments during remote learning are required. And obviously anything in class is required too, so participate in all class activities. Show their pride at all times. Again, same expectations. And we're going to be also focusing on them doing this at home too. So hopefully that'll help parents at home. And then following our social distancing and hygiene protocols, just like they follow any of our school rules. And then expectations for parents, you're a part of the team with this, so just make sure you're aware of the student learning expectations and assignments, and provide support when needed. But remember, when I was talking about the flipped classroom, they shouldn't need as much support as we saw in Q4. So, but if they do, then be there to help them, as I'm sure you will. Ensure they have a quiet space at home with the materials they need. Probably they'll need their Chromebook and paper and pencil. That probably is the extent of materials, but make sure they have a space where they can work. Read all communications from the school, or Monday Mustang memo, any emails that you get from school or the teacher, and then communicate with us when you have questions, need clarification, need support. Let us know. We're always here for you. We have expectations for everybody, and we have to support everybody too. So we have supports built in for teachers. It's going to look a little different from our normal support, because normally me and Mrs. Hanson, the curriculum coach, we go in the classroom, we work with the teachers, we work with the students, and to have that social distancing and me or her not going from classroom to classroom to classroom and bringing possible germs, things will look a little different, but we still will have the support for our teachers in these ways. I went over those with the teachers yesterday. To support our students, like I said at the beginning of the year, like we do always, we explicitly practice our expectations, and so those will, in addition to our normal expectations, include the social distancing and hygiene expectations, and then reminders throughout the year. This is new. We all are going to have to learn this. It's very hard. Even for me as an adult to, social distance, and when I see people I haven't seen in a long time, not going for that hug, but we're all going to have to work on that. And again, supporting them by focusing on academics and normal operation, not focusing on all this new stuff. I don't want anybody to be stressed out about this new stuff. I want our focus to continue what it's always been. And then we still will have our school social worker once a week. If anybody needs that, they'll probably have to alternate days so they can catch everybody. But we will have our school social worker for support. And grades 3rd and up are going to participate in an internet safety course at home during their remote days. It's called Be Internet Awesome. Some of the kids have probably already gone through it, but not last year, but the year before. But we're going to go through it again as a reminder, since we're going to be on technology a lot. I want to make sure kids are using it safely and responsibly. And then you guys need support too. Parents need support. So we're going to communicate consistently and frequently, the school and the teachers. And again, those virtual hangouts I talked about with myself, and then with the teachers. We'll have those monthly for any questions that you have. And then I'm going to work on scheduling some information sessions about academic issues, health issues, and technology training, so you can better support your kids using Google Classroom or whatever they're doing at home. And then also understand what it is that they're doing and all that stuff. So want to have that support there for you as well. If there are any information sessions that you would like us to have, just let me know. I'd be glad for that input. Now, so the plan for most people is going to be the alternating schedule, in person and remote, that kind of hybrid schedule. But if you're not ready to send your student back to school, if they're not ready to come back to school, we do have a completely remote learning option for students. So if you are interested in that, I have a form at the end of this for you to fill out, or you can contact me as well, so we can get that set up. So this plan that I just went over, obviously, we're going to have to review it, but please know that this could change before August with the number of COVID cases in Arizona increasing the way they have been. That is a strong possibility that this might change. But if it doesn't, definitely going to be reassessed each quarter to see what we need to change based on CDC guidelines or based on how Q1 went. If we need to change stuff, we may have some minor changes through Q1, but nothing big. I'm not going to do any big changes until each quarter. And then we have to also always in the back of our mind be ready for the possibility that schools could be put back on remote status at any time by the governor, like we were in Q4 of last year. So I know there's some concerns, some health and safety concerns. If you, after watching this and knowing what our protocols are, if you have any concerns about health and safety, please let me know. Again, I have a form at the end of this for that as well. I know childcare on off days, I know that's an issue, guys. That is something that's been weighing heavily on me. And I hate for anyone to be, in that position. So I've been reaching out to area daycares and seeing if people are available for in-home childcare for our students on our off days. If you know of anybody that does in-home childcare, or if you know of a childcare facility that has openings, let me know so I can share that information with parents. And then the other concern, just I heard from teachers and parents from Q4, just that engagement during remote learning. So we're going to have different ways to encourage students and reward students for their engagement on those remote learning days, so they're getting it as much out of those activities as possible. So thank you for listening. I know that was long. I know that was a lot of information. So kind of take time to process it, watch it again, and then tell me what you think. That link right there, the red link, fill out this form, is just a short, I think like 5-question survey questionnaire about kind of what we went through and just your thoughts and comments, questions. Then I'm also going to have 2 different question and answer hangouts for parents. One this Friday at 4 p.m. and then one Friday, July 10th at 6 p.m. Both of those are links to the Hangout link, but we'll also send reminder emails about those with the links as well. And then as always, there's my email address. Please email me with any questions, concerns at any time. I have a lot of things thought out, didn't put it all in this presentation. So if you're wondering about something, I probably have an answer for you. I just didn't want to put too much information out there and just fill your minds up too much. So, but email me, fill out the form, come to the question and answer hangout. I want to make sure everybody has questions answered before school starts. So again, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.